Well, I'm singing something I've probably never sung before in my life, which is Jingle Bells, because you will soon find out we're talking about some old language today. And so this version has a smidge of old language. So. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Ha, 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 bells on bobtail ring, making spirits ride. What fun it is to laugh and sing in a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. A day or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Fanny Bright was seated by my side. Well, our horse was lank and lean. Misfortune was his lot. He fell into a drifted drift, and soon we were upsot. Upsot? Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Sing! Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Hey! Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Please join me in prayer. We give thanks for this opportunity to come together as we open 2026, exploring being open at the top, and especially in recognizing our connections as we explore ancestral wisdom here for the month of January. I know that everything that takes place here today will be absolutely perfect as we delve into the connectedness of one another, of all of God's creation. I give thanks for everybody that's come together to make this service possible, and I know that everything that takes place here will be absolutely perfect. I give thanks for all of those in the sound of my voice who will hear this message going forward, and give thanks for all of the magnificent expressions of the divine present in this space right here, right now, to help us celebrate. I give thanks for all of the people here in the city of Aurora, in the state of Colorado, in the United States, here on planet Earth, everywhere they may be in the universe, and release these words into divine law where they're already done in the universal mind. I let this go, I let it be. Together we affirm, and so it is. And my first words of inspiration are from Robin Wall Kimmerer, author of the book Braiding Sweetgrass. Wild meadow sweetgrass grows long and fragrant when it is looked after by humans. Weeding and care for the habitat and the neighboring plants strengthens its growth. From Eknath Oswaran, learning to love comes easily when we remember the needs of the whole. We simply have to ask, what will benefit my family the most? What will benefit our children the most? What will help us make a contribution to life? If we ask these questions, we shall find that we are learning to love naturally and that our welfare, too, is included in the welfare of the whole. From our founder, the Honorable Dr. Ernest Holmes. Perfect peace to the soul as we rest in the realization of our unity with all there is, was, or ever will be. One with infinite mind. All the power of spirit is working through our thought as we believe and receive.
Good afternoon. We're going to take a little bit of a detour as we talk about ancient wisdom. I was reflecting on the beautiful holiday season that we had. And thank you all for participating, whether here or somewhere else, whether online or energetically. It was really an enjoyable time for me. I so appreciate the warm welcome. And certainly Karen and Ken as our musical team were a huge support of that. And I was reflecting on the Christmas carols, right? That was not a part of any official anything. And of course, we all knew that it would organically be a part of what we were doing. So a few weeks ago when we started service and Karen just organically started a Christmas carol sing-along, I was like, yeah, that's one of the many reasons I love her and I love this community. And as I was reflecting then still on some of the Christmas carols and some of the words, I am a lover of words. So we're going to explore Christmas carols and words that perhaps we use once a year, that if you're anything like me, I honestly didn't know what some of them meant. I just sing along in context and nobody seems to question. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So it is, Christmas carols are the only time of year when we hark, when, as Karen sang and we all sang, we get upsot and we demand figgy pudding and feel linguistically confident in doing so. So today we're talking about hark, we got upsot. The New Thought interpretation of sacred, silly, and seasonably strange words we sing only once a year. Now, as we jump into this, recognizing that today is the 11th day of Christmas, yes, happy 11th day of Christmas. And what happens on the 11th day of Christmas? 11 pipers piping. Yes, rock on. If that sounds like less like a blessing and more like a noise complaint, you're not wrong. But metaphysically, pipers don't whisper, they announce. Pipers pipe to call attention, to gather people, to mark that something important is happening. And 11 is the number that comes just before completion. It's the energy of almost. It is the momentum of building, of truth clearing its throat. So by January 4th, by the 11th day of Christmas, the holidays have softened us, loosened us, and maybe even upsot us a little bit. And now Spirit says, pay attention. The pipers represent inspiration that refuses to be subtle. the inner music that keeps playing whether or not we think the season is over. From a New Thought perspective, this is the moment when intention turns audible, when what we've been quietly holding in consciousness begins to announce itself to the world. The pipers aren't asking us to perform, they're inviting us to listen to the rhythm of life still moving, still calling, still piping us forward into what's next. So if you're wondering why January 4th suddenly feels louder, busier, and oddly full of options, relax. It's not your nervous system. It's just 11 pipers piping. And apparently, none of them know how to play quietly. So my friends, today I affirm for all of us that there is a divine rhythm moving through our lives now. We listen with clarity, we respond with trust, and we allow the music of Spirit to express itself through us in perfect and appropriate ways. What is being announced within us comes forth with ease, with order, and with joy. And so it is. So, as we move into this linguistic twilight zone, welcome to New Dawn, where we believe in science of mind, the creative process, and apparently a whole vocabulary we use only once a year. So Christmas carols suspend all the rules, right, that our grandparents and our parents tried to teach us, many as a first language, some perhaps as a second or a third or a fourth language. Christmas carols don't care about grammar. Christmas carols don't care about vocabulary, and they don't care about time. And may we all be like Sarah June, singing our Christmas carols with confidence, right? We may not know all of those words, but by gosh, they make us feel good. So, for a few weeks each year then, consciousness loses its grip and language follows. So, I have, in the age-old tradition of ministry, I'd like to invite you into some call and response with me, with a little metaphysical Christmas twist. I give you the word, you give me the carol. Are you ready? Everybody paying attention? Okay. Hark. Very well done. Tidings. Yeah, to you and your friends of comfort and joy. We've already been over this one. Upsot. Yep, jingle bells. Figgy. Absolutely. Anybody ever had any figgy pudding? Different talk. Okay. Yonder. I did not plant her, I promise. Exactly. That is from the true musician among us. So much. My friends, if you have used any of those words since December 25th, please see me after service. Yeah, we have a program just for you. To be determined. So, the case of upsot and other seasonal accidents. So again, we know jingle bells, it means upset or overturned. We got upsot, my pony threw us. Or the pony who was pulling the sleigh, as we sang, right, found a ditch. My words, nobody else's. It's the only time it's socially acceptable to admit you were thrown from a horse when bells are jingling. And the metaphysical input then is being upsot is not a failure, right? When we get off our path, when we're overturned, when we're thrown out of our sequence or out of our norm, it's simply an interruption. And what do we know as metaphysicians? We can get back on path, however we choose to define it, whenever we choose. Sometimes consciousness tips us over to get our attention. A bit of that gentle cosmic 2x4, as they say. And what we know to be true is spirit doesn't punish us, it repositions us. So the next time you feel a bit upset, lean into it and know what we all know to be true. When you can change your thinking, you will indeed change your life. Another thought, verbs that only work when you sing them, right? Again, we're with Jingle Bells and we wish you a Merry Christmas. I'm thinking about jingling all the way. Have you ever jingled all the way anywhere? Or jingle belling? I'm not really clear what belling is. Or goodbying, right? When we greet each other at the door at the end of the service, I've never had anyone goodbying me, nor have I goodbyed anyone. So what do we know then, again, from a metaphysical perspective? Language shapes experience. Words matter. When we sing something, we authorize it. You've heard me say more than one time from this podium, when we sing, we pray twice. So we choose to, the invitation is to pay attention to those words. What we declare aloud and even playfully activates belief. And now we look at archaic words as spiritual time travel. Yes, we're going deep today. So we're thinking about hark the herald angels sing, and we wish you a Merry Christmas. Hark. When is the last time you have harkened, harked, and herald? Not just angels, but herald angels. And tidings. What a great word. And when is the last time you ever offered anyone your glad tidings? So I love that they are heralding angels. The angels don't just sing, they issue announcements and pronouncements. And so, again, from a metaphysical perspective, what do we know? This languaging slows us down. Whether we know what it means or not, it slows us down, it allows us to be more conscious, and it pulls us out of the modern urgency and into the presence. You've heard me share before that another thing that slows us down, again, rabbit hole from my rabbit hole, another thing that slows us down, particularly during political season, you'll see many of the candidates, often in the debates, there are sign language interpreters. And of course, those interpreters are present to help the hard of hearing in the deaf community fully participate in what's taking place. And what political scientists have explored, and the reason we continue to see so many, I do believe one of the many reasons, is for those of us who can hear. When we watch somebody interpreting the spoken word, we're watching them, we're trying to figure out exactly what they're doing and what's going on, and it slows down our conscious mind. So while we, the hearing, are doing that, we hear 25% more of what is being said. So that is what the language of the Christmas carol does for us with some of the archaic and older language. It invites us to slow down. The sacred language disrupts ordinary consciousness, and that's the whole point, right? I don't know if you had the same feeling of joy and euphoria that I did after singing the Christmas carols, and that is part of the reason, part of what we're activating physiologically in our systems. So as I referenced earlier, with today being the 11th day of Christmas, I wanted to look at the 12 days of Christmas, and every year, I'm going to learn it, and I'm going to memorize it, and I'm going to do it, and I never quite get it, but it brings me great joy in the process. But what I figured out this year, and you're welcome in advance, is that the first 7 days of Christmas, save the 5 gold rings, are all birds. Swans and geese and turtle doves and partridges and, yeah, you're welcome. Okay. So the first 7 days are birds, except for the golden rings. And then the last 5 days are the human components, right? The lords and the ladies and the pipers, and that's when we get all that other stuff happening in there. So, just a fun breakdown. I would love if you had anything that you would like to interject. For me, 6 birds a laying is creative incubation, yeah? 5 gold rings, 5 ways we experience life, our 5 senses, the ways that we choose to engage, and the 5 human components, the embodiment and expression of spirit through the process. And of course, gold, one of the gifts given to the baby Jesus, that of something of value, of worth, of divine substance. And so, as I look at that, as I look at the 12 days of Christmas then, through our metaphysical lens, we're no longer receiving, we're integrating. So by the 11th day, by January 4th, Spirit isn't asking, what did you get? It's asking, what are you becoming? And so, when we say, hark, I invite you to reframe that as, I'm listening, yeah? Hark the herald angels sing. I'm listening for that higher call. I know many of us have spent time at Mile High, as I certainly have, Mile High Church. And one of the many things that I love there is Reverend Barry referring to our young people as giant souls with short legs. And when we say, hark the herald angels sing, and then we say, I'm listening, that is the opportunity. And when we say, upsot, rather than thinking I got thrown from my horse, or I'm upset, or I'm off center, what if we reframe that as something new is happening? Something new is afoot, as they say. So, as we explore some more, just a few more of these that I couldn't help myself. When we sing about the original meaning of words, right? And words that have morphed and changed over the years. Deck the halls and the holly and the ivory. We sing about don we now our gay apparel. And gay, of course, means merry and bright and joyful. It's a linguistic time capsule that resurfaces annually. And with all of our political correctness, good or bad, or where you land on that spectrum, nobody seems to have a problem with it in the context of Christmas carols. Verbs that only get invited into Christmas, jingle bells, bells jingle, coins jingle. That's about it. I don't know of anything else that jingles. And, come next month, I doubt that anybody's going to be jingling in February. But if you choose to, you are still welcome here. And jingle bells. Bells don't just ring, they're belling all the way, and they're jingling. It is, of course, grammatically questionable, and it's seasonally accepted. And goodbying, we talked about that as well. We're still goodbying. It's the only time when goodbye becomes an activity. And words that time forgot. We already referenced tidings. We talked about yon and yonder. We talked about hark and herald and figgy. And it is also the time of year where seasonal job descriptions and social roles change, right? When we talk about, shepherds watch their flocks at night. Let's think about that for a minute. Shepherds are generally watching their flocks during the day, but they're always watching, and we grant them that. And then the phrases that make sense only when they're sung: repeat the sounding joy. I love the phrase, repeat the sounding joy. And then, of course, the weary world rejoices. It's profound and somehow only applicable one night a year. And I love the phrasing, how the weary world rejoices. So what we know then, my friends, is that words are important. We know that music is important. And that's why this community continues to invest in musicians. It is so important to us to have live music as it speaks to the heart. And whether it's a seasonal tune or an old favorite, or we are so blessed with Karen and her original music, we know that music speaks to our heart. So the words that we have highlighted, the songs that we have talked about, endure because they carry a vibration. We're not speaking to our logical minds. We're speaking to our hearts, yes? We're inviting ourselves and our community to make perhaps that longest journey of 18 inches from the head to the heart. And that is where we are engaging. And these songs and these words remind us that joy can be declared. What if happiness is our natural state? What if repeat the sounding joy is something that we choose to do on a regular basis? We know that renewal can be sung. We know, we've all heard the phrase, it resonates with some folks, not with everybody. Fake it till you make it, right? Renewal can be sung. We can repeat the sounding joy. If I'm not feeling particularly joyful, hearing all of you sing those songs, some of you sing as Karen and Liana do. Some of you sing like I do. And you are my people. And we are all welcome here. And we also know that meaning doesn't always need an explanation. Sometimes we just get to feel it. I have shared with you before, I had the great joy on one of my trips to France to step into Notre Dame Cathedral. This was before the fire and before it was rebuilt. I was in Notre Dame, and it happened to be a Veterans Day service. And the languages of the day and of the church were French, of course, and Latin. And somebody that was with me that I was traveling with, and I was just sitting there being in the energy. And they said, "David, do you speak French?" I said, "No." They said, "David, do you speak Latin?" And I was like, "No." And they're like, "Well, what are you doing here? How can you appreciate that?" I said, it is so much more than language, right? It is the heart space. It is the feeling of gratitude that so many were expressing, particularly for French veterans. I was able to extrapolate that to all who wore the uniform of their country, however they chose to serve. So that is what we know, that music touches us on so many levels that we will never understand, and yet we all get to feel that. So at New Dawn, we know that consciousness responds not just to what is reasonable or that our minds understand, but to what is felt, to what is spoken, and to what is celebrated. And that is one of the many things that this community does so well. We celebrate life. We celebrate connection. We celebrate a Happy New Year. We celebrate the Broncos, win or lose. We celebrate, right? We never postpone our joy. So my friends, hark. Even if you feel a little upset, Spirit is still jingling all the way. Let us take a breath together. Please join me in prayer. If our practitioners would stand and join me in consciousness. There's one life, one love, one presence, moving through old worlds and new beginnings, through memories cherished and intentions yet to unfold. As we stand on this 11th day of Christmas, we give thanks for Auld Lang Syne, for friendships that have shaped us, for lessons that have carried us, for moments that still echo in our hearts long after the song has ended. And we know this truth: nothing of real value is ever lost. Love is not confined to yesterday, and spirit is not bound by time. So we bless the past without clinging. We honor the present without hesitation. And we step into the future with open hearts, singing forward with humor, with hope, and with holy expectancy. May what we carry into this new year be lighter, truer, and more joy-filled than that which we release. We lift this prayer in gratitude, in laughter, and in love, knowing that every ending is already a beginning. We anchor this together by saying, and so it is, and so I am, and so we are.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot in the days of Auld Lang Syne? One more time, can we try it again? All right. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot in the days of Auld Lang Syne? Looking back on all the years gone by, how we loved, how I lost, and when I cried, the memories of my heart I will carry with the scars. That's the light for my journey on. So far, so good. Here we go. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot in the days of Auld Lang Syne? Picture how and the way the world could be. We are kind, we are one, we are free. No one to tear us apart, no one to shatter our hearts. From the joy we all can have in our journeys on. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot in the days of Auld Lang Syne? You know where we are? For Did it say joy? And joy in the days. I think it was talking about all the kindness we can have in the days